This is Distance from Center. I'm Horton. That's Trent. It's kind of a special show. Trent does not know what the subject matter is exactly, so this is a little extra fun.
Let me guess. Cheating in Europe.
No, not cheating
Got
here.
it. Got it.
Trent, my Christmas gift to you is a time machine,
Yep.
and we can go watch any five skiers in the history of the sport. We have to build it. We have to agree in 10 minutes on a list of the five skiers ever you want to go back and watch.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to start. I'm gonna campaign for my number one, Jamie Bouchain.
Ha. Oh, good for you, man. Good work. Good work. Because I was thinking, you were gonna go deep tracks on this one, but go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, and then Bob Lapointe.
Okay.
And
Yep.
then
Why not? But Bob Lapointe when though? Like Bob Lapointe when?
Like 81.
Which puts him like in his mid-20s, or where is he in 81 ish?
I mean, 85. He's riding. He's riding Mastercraft Pulse. He's not jumping anymore. He doesn't have the beard. Maybe he still has the beard, but I mean, he's kind of at his peak. He's at this is before Andy really started coming in and messing with him too much. Bob it is best.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think we can have this list without Andy on it, but
sure. So how far back are you going to go to watch him?
I don't. You caught me again. I don't have a year, but at his peak, I don't know.
Ish then. I mean, do you want to be there in the early 2000s when he's battling Wade?
You know what's funny about that, and this is actually my problem with Wade is I didn't ski in the early 2000s. So as much as Wade is a hero in the sport, I wasn't involved in the sport when he was at the peak of his powers. So I don't have a reference for that.
Okay, so I'm gonna plug in real quick on that, and then we're gonna we're gonna go to the same place. I think the year is 2000, might be 2000. No, it's not. The year is 2000. We're gonna go back, and we're gonna go to Orlando, and we're gonna watch. This is gonna be all encompassing. It's beautiful. We're gonna watch Mapple and Coxie tie it 2 at 41. I'm just going to arbitrarily say 6, maybe 7 times in the final of the tour stop in Orlando. And they're going to just battle and battle and battle. Mapple's going to knock himself almost unconscious. Before, and man, I hate that I'm stumbling on this, but I think Coxie ends up getting the win. Plus, I think Chris Sullivan got third at that exact same tournament. He absolutely was in the final, and I think he got third. So I was fresh, new to Florida. I had just moved there from Australia, and so I was just thrown in the mix watching all my heroes and buddies do battle at a tournament that left a bigger impression on myself than ever. Okay, I'm going to plug in on here now too. Then I'd like to go back to the late 90s to watch Marcus Brown and Terry Winters sort of coming of age professionally. I think maybe around 98, 99, somewhere in there. They're both green on the tour and actually making cuts, making finals. And there was that article in Water Ski Magazine. It was entitled Young Guns, and it was Beauchesne, it was Parrish, and it was Terry and Marcus, and it was and that changed everything for me too. So I'd like to go back and be able to appreciate it more firsthand and not just through the magazine.
Oh, I hear that. So I'd want to go back to maybe 80 and watch. There's that photograph that's even turned into paintings of Sammy Duvall at Worlds, where he's like impossibly late, and you swear he's going for the side curtain, and he had to jump like 180, which back then was huge, for the win, and he jumps like, I don't know, 181. Somebody's gonna look this up, and I've got the distances wrong, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but I'd like to go watch Sammy at his absolute peak. I mean, one of the great regrets of my life was the day that Sammy went 220. I was like 10 miles away, goofing off, like, I'm not going to go watch the tournament. Nothing's going to happen.
I think, I'd assume you're talking about the 87 Worlds in Thorpe
London.
Park.
Yeah,
Thorpe Park.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess you're about 10 feet off on the distances, but yes, man, I had that thing. I grew up a young boy in Saskatchewan, Canada, and I had that on VHS, VCR, not beta, if you will. And I mean, there's no way I watched that less than 500 times. It was I wore the wheels off that thing. So that's a great one. I'm gonna plug another one in. I'm gonna go mid 90s. Maybe I'll go to Mumba, or maybe Italy for the Worlds. But I want to watch Jim Clooney, the
Oh.
Canadian cannonball in his prime. That guy was an absolute hero for me, and facilitated indirectly this life that I have now. I mean, that he helped me get to my first Worlds. He always made sure I had a place to train. He was a mentor in his own rough and tumble way, but absolutely a guy that helped sort of forge my career.
Yeah, Jimmy was amazing. I only met him a handful of times, but dude was amazing on his jump skis. I mean, people joke about how short Terry Winter is, and Terry's really not that short. Jim
Compared to
Clooney, well, Terry's not really short. Jim Clooney is like 5 foot,
It's like 5'1", man.
maybe.
Yeah. But he changed jumping. I mean, he was the first guy that really started working on aerodynamics. He and Jeff Carrington, and Jim would not have taken credit for it, but he and Jeff Carrington were the ones that started inching the skis a little bit longer, but more than that, they found a new way of getting lift off the ramp, and a new way of pressing, and realizing that
Right.
everyone else might have been leaving 10 feet in the air by not utilizing the airform that's kind of commonplace now. Because at the same time, Duval was going 220, and he was doing it perfectly erect in the air, like not utilizing that technique that's so common now, even for 100-foot jumpers. Who else you have? What else you got?
You cannot forget Corey Pickus. Just 92 was probably at the end of his career, but I mean, ski line 7, right? I mean, amazing stuff. Toe tricks like you don't see in the modern era today, where flips really hadn't happened yet, and so if you wanted to get over 10,000 points, it was a mass of ski lines, and I'm sure the flips today are difficult, but it seems like a lot of people are doing the same stuff, and Corey was out there just lightning fast and athleticism, and it was astounding to watch. So I'd like to go back and watch Corey for sure.
Not bad at all.
And since we've gone off topic of creating a list, I want to go back and watch Patrice slalom. Do you remember there was that era where Patrice would come into the ball and somehow or another get airborne and then land and go?
There was a moment where that trigger learned how to run 39 and jump 200 feet, and then all of a sudden it was like, holy crap. It sort of changed what people thought about overall skiing, in that that you could be as balanced as he was. Maybe we go back to early 90s when Carl Roberge won every single jump event on the Pro Tour, when there was a consolidated 12-15 stop tour. So obviously winning the
he was cheating. He was cheating. He had giant skis and nobody knew it. How did they not know? How did they not know?
Obviously winning the jump title, but in that same year winning the overall slalom title too. So
right.
He didn't go undefeated, but he won jump and slalom in the exact same season. One more. Let's go early 2000s, late 90s, maybe even, for Jimmy Seymour's first world record.
Oh,
yeah.
Seymour's amazing.
Yeah. He was a kid that was running, into 39, tricking 10 and change when that was the ceiling, and breaking the world jump record.
Right. I think I've got to go deep cuts on you for my last pick before we run out of time. I would love to have been. Actually, I was there when Wayne Grimdip jumped 172, but I was too young to care. And then a couple weeks later went 180. Back in the days when boats had not 300 horsepower and skis were probably not even carbon fiber; they were fiberglass, and it was just grit. And we're out of time. Thank you, Trent.